Welcome to this week's Game News Show. We've got some news from Sony, a lot of game leaks, well, at least one game leak, some new events, and some weird issues with Pokemon. Let's get right to it. It's this week's Game News Live. Let's kick it off with, we got a PlayStation Showcase tomorrow at the afternoon, I think 2, 3 o'clock Central Time. We may do a live reaction stream. I haven't decided yet, but I don't know what they're going to show. They're focusing on PS5 and PSVR titles, and, you know, hey, it's cool. It looks like it's bigger than a State of Play, and that is interesting. The States of Play have been kind of boring. I don't really cover those a whole lot. Maybe we'll get some Spider-Man news. I think that's about the biggest thing we've got to look forward to. There might be some other stuff with Horizon, but I don't know. I really don't know what they'll be showing as far as upcoming PlayStation titles. I've really fallen out of the loop with Sony. I haven't kept up with stuff there. But yeah. All right, moving on. Mortal Kombat 1 was leaked, then announced, and then it had its first wave of fighters leaked as well, which is just like, you know, what is even happening over there at NetherRealm Studios. But it doesn't really matter. If you watch the trailer, I wouldn't recommend watching. I watched it. It made me cringe. Too much gore. And that's why it doesn't really matter, because this is a family-friendly channel, and we would never actually play this game. And honestly, the only reason I mention it is because it's interesting, because we keep covering leaks and stuff, and this game was just another one of those spoiled surprises, and it's just a shame. But if you like Mortal Kombat, I mean, they got a gameplay reveal coming up in a couple of weeks, I believe. And yeah, it is what it is. I just have never... well, I used to like Mortal Kombat. I just kind of got out of it. They've gotten way too detailed with stuff, and I don't know. Makes my bones hurt. You know what I mean? All right, moving on to the next story. Nintendo has announced 3 more GBA titles that will be dropping into the online service soon. Super Mario Advance, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. What this means is now that you can play the classic Mario Brothers arcade game 4 different ways, thanks to the Super Mario Brothers 3 Super Mario Advance 4 title that was included at launch, I believe, with the GBA Online, Switch Online library. It's a good get, though. I mean, Yoshi's Island's a fantastic game, Super Mario World, and the original Super Mario Advance was the first game I had on GBA, and it wasn't the first time I played Mario 2, but it was probably my favorite way to play it, simply because I could take it everywhere with me. And that, you know, that wasn't a thing at the time to play NES and Super Nintendo games. Portable was novel. So yeah, it's a good get. It's some solid games. Good to see them added to the service. It probably was very easy to get the emulation accurate. You know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We saw a tweet from Nintendo. They're just rolling in the success of this game. It sold 10 million copies in its first 3 days. No one should be surprised by this, though, because almost every Zelda game that isn't Spirit Tracks is amazing. And that's just facts. Like, you can't argue with that. I'm really excited to see this game do so well, because it's so good. If you guys have watched the streams, it has been very hard for me to stop playing, and it's very hard for me to stay on task with that game, because I just keep finding something else to do. It is so fun to play. Moving on, time to get your V-Bucks out. We got Fortnite's next big crossover event with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. You can get the web shooter weapon in the game and buy some skins. Really, you know, this is cool. The event's cool. The skins look good. I mean, Fortnite is just killing it with crossovers. They were really the masters of crossover events. And if you think about where the game started, they probably had no idea it was going to function the way it does now. And that's really cool to see how a side project in a game, like, nobody plays the main game anymore. But yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse I think is out in theaters pretty soon, and this event just kind of coincides with that, which is really cool. We got some weird news. The Pokemon Twitter account tweeted that Pokemon Home would support Scarlet and Violet coming on May 24th, which is tomorrow at the time of recording this video, but then retweeted and added, hey, we didn't mean to do that, and it's instead just coming soon. But honestly, with how buggy Scarlet and Violet is, it's probably better that they get it right before launching it, before we just lose our Pokemon into the Poke Ether, as it were. Speaking of bugs, the latest Terror Raid event for Great Tusk was actually canceled over the weekend because it was dropping non-existent items for players and causing game crashes when they tried to use said items. I really hope they can get this game in order before the DLC releases, because I don't know. Like, you can't add more content and not have addressed the major issues that this game has had. It's still fun to play, just, you know, hey, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Honestly, why not just get with Nintendo and get the team that made Zelda just so beautiful and run really well and help them optimize and fix Pokemon? Like, on a very serious note, why doesn't Game Freak get help to fix this game? It is absolutely necessary and ridiculous that this game is a Nintendo, like, you know, co-owned title and does not have Nintendo's like shine on it, like Zelda and Mario Odyssey and all of these other titles that run really well on Switch. And then you have Pokemon, biggest franchise in the world. It is in the state it's in. It's so weird. I don't know what to make sense of that. How to make sense of that. Moving on. More weird news for Overwatch 2. The PvE cancellation that we learned about last week has been clarified a little bit. Game director Aaron Keller took to the Blizzard forums to explain why the PvE hero mode was canceled and how we all just really misunderstood what was actually being canceled. Really what it boiled down to was the PvE event modes will still be happening, very similar to the former Overwatch Archives Uprising event and all of that, where you would go through a map and fight bots in waves and different things. What they actually canceled was the PvE events that let you like have talent trees on the different heroes and build them out for the story and PvE modes that they were building. That has just been completely ripped out. I get that game development's hard. It sounds like they just couldn't get it all to come together to be a fun experience for every character, probably, so they pulled the plug to focus on core game experience. Story-driven events are still happening, though, which is really cool. They can still expand on the in-game lore through in-game events instead of just releasing cutscenes on YouTube. Now, if they can figure out how to make it feel like I'm actually making progress when I play, I might actually come back to the game. I keep talking about this with people that ask why I don't play anymore, or if I, still enjoy it. And the fact of the matter is, every time I've played since Overwatch 2 launched, it has been very hard for me to feel like I'm making progress or doing anything that's no dopamine. Let's just boil it down to what it is. There's just no dopamine. Anyway, so that does it for this week's gaming news. Kind of a light week, but it is what it is. We're about to play some Zelda. If you're here watching on YouTube after the fact, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more game news, Let's Plays, and other gaming content. And I'm going to go play Zelda now. See ya!